Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be helping Armando move his boat over from the shipyard to the marina, and I'm going to prep to get the new anchor chain installed. And a special shout out to Mike H for support on Patreon. Thanks Mike, really appreciate your help. Going to be down helping Armando out here with this Vision 32 he launched today. It's a beautiful boat, eh? Leaving the shipyard. Armando's driving. He's got a nice wide berth here on his 32. Leaving Harbor West Marina Shipyard. Oh, I just got a glimpse of Northern Comfort over there. This is the George Pierce Coast Guard ship. There's Theodore 2, the tugboat from Halifax. She actually sunk last year in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And so she was here all winter getting repairs done. First sail of the season on Armando's boat. And we're just leaving the Harbor West shipyard here behind me. Got the Coast Guard and a number of other boats, but Northern Comfort is over on the hard still. And it looks like we've got about somewhere around 10 knots of wind. How's it feel?
The engine's starting to quiet down, I guess. Getting quieter.
Armando rebuilt the motor this year over the winter time, and he was making sure he didn't leave a wrench inside. Anyway, it seems to be working well. We were just talking about comparisons of the electric motor versus this is diesel, right?
Yes.
Diesel. So right now we're doing 4.5 knots on the instrument, and I was just saying to Armando that if I was to do 4 knots, to go to 5 knots, I would use this double the battery power on mine. So basically the amount of energy required would be double. But for you to do...
It's about the same, it's double.
It's the same?
Energy's energy.
Yeah, okay, so for you to do an extra knot above 4.5?
A little less than double.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Maybe a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, as you get up there. Because you're into the more efficiency of the diesel engine in that RPM range.
Yeah, because that's when you're reaching in. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I have efficiency band throughout, but my energy draw to move the boat through the waters a lot more in the higher end.
Yeah.
Although I'm 90% efficient on my energy, even at the very low. That's why I can kind of creep along and basically off a solar panel, but I can't go very fast, like a couple of knots, and it's very efficient. Whereas I think here, like if you were at 500 RPM, would you be moving?
Idle is about 850 on this, and we do about 1 3/4, 2 knots at idle.
At idle, okay. That's interesting. I'll have to graph that sometimes, do comparisons. One thing I haven't done. I was just talking to Armando about the noise levels, and he suggested I film this. It's probably a good idea, but it's been a while since I had a combustion engine, but this is what it sounds like. So when you're down in the cabin, this is how loud the diesel is. Now, mind you, the panels are off, the noise suppression panels, but that's pretty loud. So that's what's typical in a boat. And I complain about the noise in mine, but it's nowhere near the same. I never come in this way because I'm over on the other side. Well, we made it on dock. That was easy, pretty easy peasy. We had some help from the neighbor, Vlad. Gave us a hand. And now I'm just gonna go check out the finger that there was a boat fire on my dock. I'm gonna go take a look at it and see what's left of it. Anyways, glad to be back on dock.
Thank you for the help, sir.
Yeah, no problems.
It's good to have an accomplished sailor with me.
So the fire from the random boat that was here, I don't know who it is, but it was so hot it melted all of the I guess this is like a PVC material, but it actually melted the aluminum here on top of the finger. So we're pretty surprised that is still alive. It must have been hot enough. It was getting like beyond the aluminum, right? Like those barrels could have went. So yeah, I think that looks a little bit better with my boat beside it than the way in the state that it's in there now. But wow, that's unfortunate. I'll go take a picture of that boat there. It's in the yard. So that's the boat that caught on fire on my dock there. It's about 32 feet long, I think they said. The whole upper bridge there is melted. So it's a pretty hefty fire. There's no coming back for that one. It actually sunk. That boat actually sunk, and they had to raise it up, and then yeah, they dragged it back here and took it out with a crane. So anyways, that's our first trip. Just glad to give Armando a hand, and gonna get back to the regular sanding and grinding. Bought this boat with very little, had no working engine, no instruments, and you know, I gutted it, I pulled the engine out, and then I decided to go electric. So I put an electric motor in, and had a whole learning curve about that. So I learned about batteries and charging systems and wiring and, you know, house banks, all the different solar panel and monitoring systems. And that's what this channel is about. It's about sharing the knowledge that I learned, documenting my journey as I retrofitted this boat. I'm looking forward to next year. Next year I'm going to be taking the boat out to the coast and to the ocean, and I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you can follow along and join me. Well, this is about as much as I dare to get done here. So I've got the corner, I put one in the middle, and the seam also down here. I did the seam down below. You can kind of see where it's like lighter and darker. That's actually where the slight misalignment is there in the middle seam, but the fiberglass is going to cover that up and compensate that. And then when I put the fairing compound on top, it's not going to be noticeable. And then what I need to do is I need to cut some pieces to fill in the gaps. You can see this one here I did before, this middle one. And then I did the floor. And I've got the the closet done. And the corners tapped in, so I just need to fair the sides, give it some paint, and then I'm going to be putting some insulation on the back wall there. So basically I've got insulation everywhere that there's exposed hull anywhere. So you can kind of see my method here. The black is the closed cell foam insulation, and that basically goes behind the plywood. Then I put fiberglass on top of the plywood, and then I give it a fairing, and I end up with a nice smooth finish like this here. So you can see that's kind of what it looks like with the fiberglass on it, and this becomes a very solid piece. I don't bother doing the overlap and things. To me, this is fine. That is structurally very sound, and this is what it ends up looking like. So it ends up looking nice when I'm done, and the whole V-berth. It's hard to see. I got all kinds of crap in here now, but the whole V-berth edges I had to do. This was a really long exercise. I did a lot of going back and forth with the 3-foot sander to get the whole wall nice and planed nicely. Same with this wall. You know, that one down there. That was all done with the 3-foot sander. So basically I try to make it as even as possible. And I mean, I'm not looking for perfection, but when you sand it with the 3-foot, it really does make it look good. It takes a lot of the, I don't know, the things out of it anyway. I've got one interesting little project I got to do. I've got this little rope trim, and I've put this rope trim pretty much everywhere that I have on the like tops of things. So like you see there's one there. I was thinking of actually putting one along the top rail, so putting a board up and just putting a trim to cover the last little piece. And then but I've got this interesting shape here, which is I'm calling that my chaise, so I can kind of sit there with my legs out, and I'd like to get the outside edge, so I'm going to have to bend that board, that molding. That's basically what it is like a rope molding. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a steamer, and I'm going to slide the molding into a pipe, and then I'm going to put the heat steamer in for a couple of hours, and I'm essentially just going to heat the molding, and then I'm hoping I can take it out here and actually just bend it around where I need, and you know, get it to basically come all the way around here and then all the way up to over there. And if I can do that, that'll just be the cat's meow, I think. So I'm going to give that a go. I need to borrow a steamer from somebody. It's like one of those steamers you would use to steam clothes. I think that'll be enough for the molding. So if you put it in, like, you know, pumping out continuously for a few hours into a pipe, that pipe's going to get really hot and steamy, and I think it'll saturate the wood and then make it flexible. And then I'm just going to put it on there, and I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to put something to wedge it in the corner, and then clamp it all the way around here, and then I'm hoping that I'll be able to let it dry, and it'll just be fitted then, and I'll just glue it in place. Anyways, I'm just gonna take a break and do a little cleanup. They finally have the water turned on here. It's been too cold, unpredictably cold. It is almost the end of April, or mid-April, and it's the first time we have water. So my boat is filthy. So I want to give it a good cleaning. So yeah, I gotta find my boots and get that ready, but I might do that tomorrow. Hey everybody, good morning. I'm actually out on Kingston. I'm on a road trip. Came down to Kingston to pick up some chain for my my boat. It was actually about 30% cheaper over here than buying it locally in Hamilton, so it was worth the trip, and then saving myself the shipping by coming here to pick it up. So it's about a 3-hour drive, but going to save quite a bit there because I'm buying 275 feet of chain. But this is the Kingston Marina. I think they call it Confederation Basin, and this is usually full of boats, but we're here a bit early. And I can see the fort across on the other side, and this is the water break, so you can kind of see right where that little green light is, the buoy. There's an entrance there, so they have a really nice water break here. Visiting Kingston today, a little bit far from home, but It's cold, 0. No boats in the water here yet. This is, oh, there it is, Confederation Basin Marina. And I don't know how many slips they have here, but it's quite a few. And I'm going to be tying up here probably in about a month and a bit. And it looks like the dock sunk over there. So I suspect that when I come in, I could probably lash up anywhere here temporarily, because I will be coming here, and I'll probably stay here for an overnight when I pass through on my way to down the St. Lawrence. They have a very pretty front there. There's the Prince George Hotel. I think that's like 1800s hotel. That's how old Kingston is. Anyways, it's a beautiful place. I don't know much about this particular marina. I don't even know who runs it. I imagine it's probably run by the city, but I'll find out, and I'll post some information on my Patreon site about the different stops that I'm going to be staying at. Anyways, enjoy the day. Kingston, lots of museums. Visitor Information Center, Prince George Hotel. Really old town. Well, I got my anchor chain. I'm heading back. That's it there in the back. Heading back to Hamilton. I was a little bit worried about the size of it, but because I have a hard time visualizing like what so many cubic feet of chain is, but I actually think my anchor rod takes up more space. So I imagine it depends on how it all clumps down there in the anchor locker, but I suspect that my rod actually takes up more volume. So I have 1-inch rope, and I have 300, I have 100 meters of road. So 100 is 300 feet. So I got 275 feet of chain. Plus I have a little bit of chain on my thing too, but I think the road is actually takes up more volume than the chain here behind me. Just looking at the half barrel here. They call that a barrel, but yeah. Anyways, heading back, and I'm going to lay it out on the ground and do the chain markings. I've got to kind of figure out logically something that makes sense to me. I might take my my road and lay that out, and then paint them the same. That way I kind of know where I am and how much I've let out, no matter whether I use the road or the chain. And I'll be keeping the road for the back, for the stern anchor, and I'm going to be putting it in the back cupboard along with the CQR anchor. So I'll have basically 2 anchors on board. I think that's a wise thing to do. The only thing I want to do is I want to build a little stand or like a little cradle maybe for the anchor, for the CQR, and the road and the chain, so that way I could just leave it in there, strap it in so it doesn't bounce around too much. And I'm going to be, I'm not too sure where to put it exactly, but in the back underneath the under the transom and under the feet of the cockpit, so it'll be not quite high, not quite low. It's kind of in the maybe middle, be close to the water line on the boat, which will be good. And I'm hoping that the anchor at the back and the batteries counter offset the weight of the chain, because it's about a pound per foot roughly, and I got 275 feet, so be close to 300 pounds of chain and the anchor on the front. So I'm hoping that the road, the anchor, and I have a little bit of chain. I think it's 15 feet of chain or 20 feet of chain. So I'll have that on the back, and then the batteries are replacing the engine. So it's lightened up quite a bit in the back. So we'll see how it looks on the water line, or once I kind of get the boat in the water. I might have to adjust some things to try to keep it a little bit more balanced. But anyways, picked it up, my 5/16 ISO high test G4 chain, and I'm hoping that it fits nicely on my 5/16 windlass. It's supposed to, so we'll check it out when we get there. Amazing, all that chain fits in this round little barrel. It's 300 pounds, so I couldn't lift it. So to transfer it from this vehicle to this vehicle, I needed to put it on the floor, and I'm going to put it in a link at a time. That was a good shoulder workout. I don't know how much that weighed, but it's a pound per foot, so it's probably bringing maybe 10 to 20 pounds hauling. It's like, oh, it's definitely sore on the shoulders. I'm testing the fitting, see if this chain fits in here. My mast is down. That's the big news. I'm dropping you guys. Oh my god. That's not good. I'm just going to what I'm working on. Let me just get this on here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There we go. Okay, I'll try that. Take two. What I'm doing is I've got myself a new windlass. Like I said, I've got a bunch of things I needed to get done this year, but so I've got myself a Pro 1000 with 5/16 the 516 Gypsy, which is supposed to be good for 5/16 chain, ISO, high test, grade 40. And then because of all the videos that I've seen of people losing their anchors being in a river, what happened was the tide turned and the road floats a little bit, and it gets caught around the keel or in the rudder, in between the rudder and the skeg. Like, it's just, there's a few people had different things happen, but it was a common problem where they had to actually get rid of drop the anchor almost in an emergency. And the reason why is because it's somewhat buoyant. Like, it's just not like a drop hang in the water like chain is. So I decided to go with a full chain, 275 feet. And then I put it in this spot here behind me, and it fits, but I kind of felt like it was above the water line a bit much. Up here, the water line's down here, kind of like about here. Maybe even a little bit lower because it's up in the front. So I just wanted to drop the anchor a little bit further. So what I did was, this is my shelf, and what I got down here is a little platform. This is kind of what I call my wet locker. So what I did was I took the bottom square. Let me just get that out of there. So I took the little bottom triangle. I learned my shapes here. That's a triangle, not a square. But I put I took the bottom out of it, and then I chopped the, I don't know what that's kind of as, like a wooden guide. I just used my rip saw and I chopped that out so I could make a little channel for the chain to fall. And now the chain is kind of resting down there. After I'm done here, I'm actually going to line that all up with some of this closed cell foam. I'm going to get that to fit in there real nice. and then kind of create a little channel for it to come down. I just want to use the close cell foam for insulation value, and then the chain's just not sitting directly against the hull, you know, as the boat is shafting around or shaking or whatever. I just don't want any chain to be rubbing on the fiberglass. So I've kind of I like the idea of having everything insulated. So I'm going to put that in there, and then because I've had it in there before, I just kind of took it out. And then I'm going to just run it up all the way into the anchor locker, and then I'm going to line both sides with that. But what I'm hoping is that the anchor line will drop down into this little spot on its own, and it looks like it's going to. So we'll just film that really briefly, and then that'll create more room up in the front, and it'll keep the weight a little bit lower here. Well, not much piled down here at all, so that didn't work. I just... No. So it does not want to kind of fill the way I thought it would fill. I wonder why. So what I got going on here is I took the bottom out of my anchor storage. This is kind of like a divider wall, so my anchor would be in the front. With 275 feet, it's a little bit heavy, and it's a little bit high. I kind of felt up on the boat, so I just wanted it below the water line, or the bulk of it. So what I did is I took the bottom two, and then I cut the bottom out here so that there's some room for the chain to fall and spool up here until it fills up. And then I've got a shelf here that actually goes on the top. So I'm hoping that what I can do is, I'm hoping I can use it and then have my chain kind of fall in there. And then I'll have to put something here to funnel it, like a piece here. And then that'll make it so that the chain can kind of fall in underneath, fill up that cavity, but then I'll still have this little top section here as a little compartment. That's kind of like my wet locker, is what I call it, my wet storage. What I've normally put in there is my wetsuit. So after I let it hang and dry, and I have my flippers and my mask, so I have that in here. And then I had my rode on that side, my anchor rode. But then what happens is the anchor chain, I've just got more of it now. It's taking up more volume than the road. Not a lot, but just a little bit. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to be clever and put this here. Alternatively, because I don't think I'll use, like, it's pretty rare that you put 200 feet of chain out. I might even be able to get away by putting the other pieces in there. So I'm going to try that first. I'm just going to put the next one in, and that might be enough to keep the chain sort of like filling up at the bottom, and then what's it called, but spilling over enough but not onto this area. So I'm going to just try that. Basically I just widened out this area. Kind of looked like the chain was bunching, so maybe I just got to sand this part down, make it smoother, or cut it off here on both sides. Okay, so this kind of sucks, but my windlass hole is not quite, the drop hole is not quite in the right spot. And I took off a piece of the bottom. I got to still cut another slot, I think, just to get rid of that edge so that the chain falls down nicely. It falls, but it gets caught a little bit, and then up top my hole is too long. The old chain guard door is just too long. So what I've done is I've made a plug for the bottom. I'm just going to screw it in the original holes that were there, and then I'm going to have I have fiberglass the hole in, so I'm going to use some of the chopped strand that I have, and I'm going to make myself a mixture, and I'm going to pour it in there. So I'm going to have to tape up the top around so I don't make a mess, and then drop that template in there. So here we go. Well, it's got to go like this, very slight angle, and then you can't see down there. Yes, you can, slowly. So that's where it's got to drop. So I'm just a tad, my hole is a tad forward for the proper laying of the chain. So I took this out, the template, and I was just looking at it, and I can see that my hole's too far forward for the drop to drop properly. So I got to move it back ever so just 2 inches back on this side, but it's too far. The hole is too big, so I'm gonna have to fill that all in with solid epoxy. So I'm gonna tape off this area, and then I'm gonna go underneath and put something on the underside, pressing up, and I'm gonna fill that in. I'll tell you, yeah, it's pretty tiring moving 300 pounds of chain, but my hole's got to be moved back by about 2 inches this way, maybe 3. So I'm just going to go underneath, drill a pilot hole up, but afterwards, I'm going to fill that whole thing, and in the meantime, I got to put that all in that bucket. Arm workout. It's not a very easy position to work in. I can't really see very well. I wonder if I should put the thing all the way through first. Maybe this way I can line up the holes, the screws. I think this bit is slowly getting worn. Okay. That's good. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go outside now and do the work outside. Looks like I'm going to have some little holes to fill, but so I'm going to fill this in here now. Looks like I got to still scrape a little bit of this thing off, but I can get that out of there. Always double glove, no matter what. So I'm just using this chopped strand to create some more, I guess, thickness to this epoxy. And I'm going to just put some in there, and then I'm going to stir it so that it absorbs all of the epoxy. And this is just shavings that I had from just little pieces, so I'm just chopping them here so they're a little smaller. So when I had like just little noodly little ends or cuts or whatever, basically rather than throwing it out, I'll just, you know, keep it and use it. Now I need it to fill a hole, and I'm glad I kept them. So I'm going to put these in and then smooth this around, see how much of the hole it fills, and that'll kind of give me an idea of the next little batch that I need. And that's basically what this chop strand looks like here now. Probably could put a little bit more. It absorbed that pretty fast. So again, the reason I'm doing this is because the hole's not quite in the right spot, and it's the wrong shape and too big and all the above. So I'm just going to fill it in, and I'm going to cut a new hole. This was 4 pumps of each and some chop strand. And you can see here, that's why I put the tape around, so in case I get any around, it's going to sand a little bit instead of a lot. Should be able to take off the tape afterwards, but so this is pretty close actually. The other thing I did is I ground out a little bit of the deck, the deck wood underneath. There's this actually, this has been repaired before. I don't know if the original deck had a layer of laminate in between 2 pieces of fiberglass, but the current one does. So this is looking really good. So I need like maybe just a little bit more to cover that. Let's see, this was 2 pumps. This might be too much, but let's see if I can get it all in there. Make it smooth, and I'll just give it a sand before I take it out tomorrow. This will only need, with the 205 today, probably about 8 hours to cure. And I don't need it to be pretty. I just need it to be solid, and it's definitely too much. I'm just going to fill that little hole in there too. Yeah, that's definitely too much. So I have to do a lot of sanding to get that off, but that's okay. So we'll go with that until tomorrow. This will probably help it cure as well. So I'm just going to put this on. I normally put some plastic down on the top of my exterior work, and it helps to sort of keep everything flat. Maybe this way. I'll go this way. Because of the screws, I'll just make it flat every which way here. So I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to get some pieces just to hold that down on the sides. So that's the repair for now, and then tomorrow I'll sand it and cut the new holes for the windlass. Well, it's a long day. I got a few things done, and got my mind wrapped around what I need to do with the mast, sort of. The big one was the anchor chain. Took a while to test fit it and realized it wasn't going to work the way that I had it. So I'm doing an epoxy repair, and yeah, and I got one more panel on in the back there. One more to go, I think, and then I'm going to start building the back wall, which is going to be inclusive of the liquid cooling. So I'm going to be tackling that this weekend, getting that done while I'm working on the mast. Stay tuned.